everyone. Welcome to another episode of the theQubicaAMF Tech Tip Podcast. This is a weekly podcast where we take you on a journey through the fascinating world of bowling technology and beyond. As always, I'm your host, Orly, and we have a very special guest today, a first-time guest. It's always exciting to have returning guests, but it's even more exciting to have a new guest. And today we have Mark Henderson on the show. And Mark, I'm gonna be honest. I've been chasing him for a while. You know, we've kind of gone back and forth with the emails, and I finally got him. He's finally here. So, Mark, can you first let everyone know your job title with theQubicaAMF and what you do in that job title?
Certainly, Orly. Thank you for the introduction. Yes, I'm with tech support, and I'm in kind of a subset of tech support called Electro-Mechanical. So I deal more with the voltage and the pulleys and the belts than I do with the scoring. And we get into some of the things like the mechanics of the HyperBowling, which I think we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, so today I kind of wanted to let you kind of, go over, HyperBowling, maybe like daily maintenance. I don't know. And that's why we have you here, whether it's stuff maybe that customers that have HyperBowling should be checking maybe daily, monthly, weekly, yearly, just anything when it comes to that, what they should be, looking for, and maybe not necessarily, how to fix even individual thing, but maybe just on what they should be checking for. And if they do have an issue, maybe where they can go to fix that, or maybe we just bring you back on another show and you get to explain and break it down a little more. So pretty much with that said, I'll let you kind of take it on from here, Mark.
Sounds great. Yeah, I'll just start out. Basically, a weekly test is the kind of the platform that you want to get into a routine of doing. And you can do that right from your Concur terminal. When you go into the Concur, go into HyperBowling test, go into setup, and then modes and options setup. And you can go through a number of things. One of the things you want to check first is your speed sensor test. And there are 5 speed boards per side of each lane, and those come off the motor board, which is immediately next to the little motor, or what we call the actuator, that actually raises and lowers those rails that have the LEDs on them. Okay. And so what you'll want to do is check to make sure there's not any obstructions to the sensor or any dust or dirt that can contaminate or influence the signal, and check the bumpers up, bumper down function to make sure that they're working normally. Also, you'll want to do a contact sensor test, and that provides the information of the quality of the infrared signal when the ball hits the rail. And the interesting thing about this, there's not a contact sensor in the rail per se that feels the motion of the ball hit it. Rather, there's a sensor and a beam that is running directly down next to that rail the full length of the lane. So if you had like dry ice fog on your lane, you could see this beam of light going all the way down right next to that rail. And when the ball interrupts that, it knows that imminently that rail is going to be hit. And based on the speed sensors, it knows where the ball is, and the appropriate light flashes. You'd think there was a sensor right in that rail itself. And they're pretty easy. The receiving unit is a little bullet-shaped device that's silver. The right side one is red. The left side one is green, and if that's off a little bit, the ball can hit the rail before it actually breaks the beam, and then you get a false read, or you get no read. So that's a good thing to check. Another thing that I encourage people to do is check all the connections. These speed boards are daisy chained. In other words, they're all in a row, one after the other. And so the first thing in line is the motor board, and then all the speed boards in a row down that lane. And if any of those cables become loose or they're barely connected, you can actually get some hot spotting on those contacts, which isn't good. You want a good contact between all of those, so it's a good idea to check that. And then periodically, if you do have to do a replacement of a motor or actuator, as we call it, while it's disconnected, put some gloves on, because there are a lot of pinch points, and manually raise that rail up and see if it's straight. If there's a lot of creaking going on, you might want to just put a little bit of light oil on those pivot points when the center's not open or when you've got that lane closed, just to make sure that mechanism is working freely.
And is that something they should be, you said checking weekly, or when is this done? When should they be doing this?
Just checking the contact sensors and the speed sensors is a weekly thing. Checking the motors is more of a monthly thing. I'm sorry I didn't kind of break that down as I segued into that. But in the monthly check, you want to check those motors on the approach area close to the foul line. Make sure the rails go in the up position when they're supposed to. and make sure that the arm has reached that correct 110-degree position. And the arm should not move when it's pulled, when it's fully up. It should stay firm. Now, the interesting thing is the motors are designed to try to lift those rails up to a point. So if a child or someone is standing on the rail when it tries to raise, it's going to try for a few moments and then it's going to give up. Same thing going down. It's not going to just crush anything in its path. It's going to try to set it down, but it does have a resistance sensor. But it should exert enough force to raise that rail fully and completely when it is actuated. And if it doesn't, you may have a bad actuator.
Okay. And maybe we'll have to bring you back on the show to discuss how to change that out if that's something you might want to talk about.
Sure, be happy to. Oh, one of the things that I forgot to mention, Orly, is the little U channels at the bottom of the track is also the system's ground. And if those aren't snug, you could have a ground fault, and the system can give you some error codes when you do the startup test. It gives you a light bar test. And so you want to make sure that all your grounds are snug and tight. And with the vibration that happens in bowling alleys, that wouldn't be a bad idea to just double check once a month when you're doing your system check.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. With all the vibration, like you said, or maybe, who knows, those crazy ones that want to go and try to throw the ball 300 miles per hour down the lane and hit the bumpers.
Exactly. And so, yeah, you'll want to avoid that. And also, as patrons, have a good time once in a while. Somebody spills a beverage, you want to quickly and completely clean up any spills. And the rails can be just cleaned with a cloth dampened with like a mild soap or detergent.
All right. Well, Mark, I appreciate you coming on the show. Like I said, it's been a long time coming, but we finally got you on here. And I'm excited to have you on today and hopefully many more times in the future. As always, all these tips that you guys come on here and bring for the customers are, they help out a lot. So I know I appreciate it. I know the customers appreciate it. So again, I appreciate you coming on today.
Well, good. I'd look forward to doing that. And if one of the customers does have a problem and that they can't seem to solve, please encourage them to call 866-460-7263 and just press option 3, and they'll get one of the tech support people and we'll help you out.
Perfect. And everyone, if you're new to this show, make sure you're going back and listen to past shows. I always mention that each week. We have so much great information out there that's going to be able to help you in your center. So make sure to, listen to these shows, share it with your staff, your management, your owners, or whoever else you might think can benefit from these episodes. So until next time, we will talk to everyone soon.
Thanks, Orly.